Welcome back. A warning to everyone at home that this next story contains graphic content. It's been 20 years since 9/11. Joe Dittmar was working on the 105th floor of the second tower when he had to evacuate. He was rushing down the stairs when the second plane crashed just a few stories above him. It just missed him. He miraculously made it out alive and is with us to talk about this nearly 20 years to the day later. Joe, welcome to Breakfast Television, coast to coast here in Canada. How you doing?
I'm doing great, and thank you for having me. It's great to have this opportunity to speak with you.
Joe, talk to us about that day, almost 20 years ago. What exactly happened and where were you?
I was on the 105th floor, as you mentioned, in an enclosed conference room with 53 other insurance compatriots and ready to have a meeting. The meeting was supposed to commence at 8:30. No insurance meetings ever started on time up to this day. But at 8:46, the lights in that room flickered. Because we were in that enclosed conference room, we couldn't see, hear, feel anything, just this flicker of lights. And a gentleman from the company that we were visiting came in, told us there had been an explosion in the North Tower, told us that we needed to evacuate. And 54 of us all did the same thing to this poor man. We waved our hands at him a little bit and we said, hey, it's New York. Things are always happening here. Let us have our meeting. That man said, hey, I'm a volunteer firefighter, volunteer fire marshal for the 105th, 104th, 103rd floors. I can't leave until everybody leaves, and I want to leave. And I know he got everybody out of that room that day because I was the last guy out.
Wow. All right, so Joe, so you're moving, then the second plane hits, literally right above you.
That's right.
Is it possible for you to articulate to us what that felt like physically?
Something that you hopefully never have to feel. You are inside this fire stairwell, this concrete bunker, and it starts to shake so violently from side to side. The concrete spidering out, the handrails breaking away from the wall, the steps like waves in the ocean undulating underneath our feet, and we feel this heat ball blowing by us, and we smell this jet fuel, and this thing keeps rocking back and forth, back and forth. It felt like forever. Maybe it was minutes, maybe seconds, and it finally settles and comes to. And you would think there would be massive pandemonium, but we reacted to this with nothing but a stunned silence.
And then, Joe, there was a split-second decision you made that saved your life, whether to take the elevator or the stairs. Tell us about that.
Yeah, at the 78th floor, sky lobby level, you had a choice there. You could either go to a bank of elevators and try to take them down the rest of the way, or get back in the stairwell. The woman that was running our meeting kind of frantically screaming to me to come with her to go to the elevator. Finally, some common sense took over my brain. I've been in this business for 44 years, and I thought to myself, building, state of duress, fire, emergency, shouldn't get in an elevator. And I never said a word to her, waved to her politely, went back to the fire stairwell, arguably the best decision I've made in what is still my life, because as you mentioned, I was somewhere between 74 and 72 when that second plane went through our building, and that went through our building between 77 and 83.
Joe, how far were you from the buildings when they began to fall?
We were about 8 blocks north of the building, about 8 minutes away. That was at that time the first chance we had to hear from a radio that we could hear coming out of a laundry that we were passing by, that this was an on-purpose terrorist attack, and our jaws just dropped to the ground. This doesn't happen here. This was the attitude. This doesn't happen here. But even more incredibly, you hear the crumbling concrete, the twisting steel of what once was that South Tower, that building that we had been in just 9 minutes prior, coming to the ground. And even more hauntingly, the sound of hundreds of thousands of people on the streets of New York all screaming the same blood-curdling scream all at the same time.
Joe, last question. Tomorrow's 20 years to the day. and I would assume you have thought about this every day since. You don't seem like a person, considering what you've been through, who takes life for granted anymore. I would guess that's the truth.
That is the absolute truth. You learn a lot of things from an experience like this, not the least of which is you learn the whole concept of carpe diem, live the day. There are no guarantees. And you learn how to prioritize. Been in this insurance business for 44 years, been around for 65 years. The most important thing is family, friends, and the maker that you believe in. And I am so, so thankful to be able to still be here with my family and my friends, and forever grateful to the man above who saved me and helped me that day.
Amen. And thank you for sharing your story. I know you do talks all year long, upwards to 60 speaking sessions a year. You have something called the Always Remember Initiative. And thank you for helping to share your story and what that felt like, you know, to everybody at home today, whether you lived through it like we did, watching on television and just feeling complete empathy and shock and horror. What we were witnessing was the worst of humanity, and then seeing the resilience and strength that you showcased so beautifully today. So thank you so much for speaking on behalf of, you know, others who survived and those who didn't, for a moment of reflection. Thank you, Joe. Love to you and your family.
You're quite welcome, and thank you very much. We can use all the love we can get. Thanks.
No doubt.
Sending it to you.
Love is always a good thing. Joe, take care, brother. God bless.
Time is
Thank you.
8:46 right now. At the time when the first plane
8:40
hit.
for the record. It's amazing. 8:46 is when the first plane hit the tower, nearly 20 years ago. More BT after this.